Machiavelli warned, familiarity breeds contempt. The darker truth, warmth makes you replaceable, while coldness makes you irresistible. The less you offer, the more they crave. I am Draven oblivious, the voice behind the silence. You see me now, faintly in the corner, but only once. My voice opens the gate. Beyond this point, you walk alone through ice. The first fracture of coldness is merciless. To be desired, you must first withdraw. Pawns chase warmth because it is easy, abundant, available. But genius minds understand the paradox. The colder you become, the more others burn to thaw you. Shelby mastered this instinctively. His silence was ice. He withheld affection, withheld approval, withheld emotion, and because he revealed nothing, others obsessed with everything. Women longed to know what he felt. Men feared what he hid. His coldness made him inevitable. Corleone's power thrived in the same frost. He spoke rarely, touched sparingly, granted affection with restraint. His warmth, when offered, felt like sunlight after endless winter. Men defended him because every gesture felt earned. His coldness made his presence unforgettable. Forget emotions. Remember victory, picture the pawn. He offers constant warmth, endless smiles, desperate affirmations, eager gestures. His warmth is abundant, and abundance breeds contempt. No one values what is always available. His eagerness makes him invisible. His affection makes him forgettable. Now picture the ruler. He withholds. He gives nothing easily. His coldness carves mystery, and mystery breeds desire. Pawns chase what they do not have. They obsess over the one who resists. Coldness is not cruelty. It is strategy. By giving less, you demand more. Erase the noise. Master the game. This is the anatomy of irresistible coldness. Scarcity creates obsession. What is rare becomes sacred. Silence creates mystery. What is unreadable becomes magnetic. Restraint creates value. The less you give, the more they worship. The mind forgets. The strong remain. Machiavelli understood that affection is a currency, and like all currencies, it devalues when spent too freely. Coldness is the economy of power. It starves others just enough to make them crawl closer, beg harder, crave deeper. Your warmth must feel like reward, not routine. But genius minds know balance. Coldness alone can freeze into hatred if wielded carelessly. The art lies in restraint, offering warmth rarely, unpredictably, so that every touch feels immortal. The ruler is cold enough to create obsession, but wise enough to release fragments of warmth that enslave forever. So what does this mean for you? It means if you are still flooding others with attention, you are pawn. If you are still desperate to please, you are invisible. The crown belongs to the one who withholds, who freezes, who starves, and in starving, makes others crave. So tonight, ask yourself, am I warm because I fear losing them, or cold because I know they cannot resist me? One crowns pawns, the other crowns kings, and as silence chills this first fracture, I leave you with the truth that crowns the irresistible. Warmth pleases, coldness enslaves. Asterisk Machiavelli taught, men are simple. They are moved by necessity more than reason. The darker truth, emotion is the leash, and the man who withholds his becomes the master of those who cannot control theirs. The second freeze is merciless. Emotion given is power lost. Pawns spill their feelings recklessly, love too quickly, anger too openly, fear too visibly. Each outburst is a confession, and every confession is a weapon placed in another's hands. The man who cannot control his emotions is already ruled by those who can. Shelby mastered this silence of the soul. His face was unreadable, his tone flat, his eyes like winter glass. He let others project onto him their fears, their hopes, their fantasies. His coldness forced them to reveal themselves while he revealed nothing. Women desired him because he showed nothing. Men feared him because he promised nothing. His withheld emotion was not absence, it was dominance. Corleone perfected the same discipline. He never shouted, never raged. His calmness was his cruelty. Pawns feared him not for his violence, but for his restraint. They knew his silence meant calculation, his calmness meant inevitability. His coldness was the theater of control. The colder he remained, the more others burned with anxiety to please him. Forget emotions. Remember victory, picture the pawn. His emotions spilled everywhere, excitement, anger, fear, eagerness. He thinks he is being honest. In truth, he is arming others. They know what he loves, what he fears, what he will chase, what he will avoid. He is readable. He is predictable. And predictability is death. Now picture the ruler. He withholds. He reveals nothing unless it is chosen. His silence creates mystery. His calmness creates fear. His restraint creates obsession. Others project into his silence what they most desire or most fear. He becomes irresistible because he is unknowable. Erase the noise. Master the game. This is the anatomy of withheld emotion. Silence enslaves. Pawns reveal themselves in the void you create. Calmness terrifies. What does not break under pressure feels immortal. Mystery binds. The less they know, the more they need to know. The mind forgets. The strong remain. Machiavelli knew rulers must not be consumed by feelings. Love fades. Rage clouds. Fear paralyzes. But coldness sharpens. To withhold emotion is not to lack it. It is to weaponize it. A smile given rarely becomes unforgettable. A glance of approval withheld becomes addictive. The ruler's emotions, rationed like drops of water in desert heat, enslave more than endless floods ever could, but genius minds go further. They not only restrain emotion, they design its scarcity. They give nothing for weeks, then a single word of approval that feels like gold. They deny endlessly, then reward once, creating addiction. The pawn craves not the man, but the rare fragment of warmth he dispenses. Coldness becomes the architecture of devotion. So what does this mean for you? It means if you still reveal your emotions freely, you are pawn. If you still think honesty is strength, you are already enslaved. The crown belongs only to the one who withholds, who freezes, who starves others until their hunger consumes them. So tonight, ask yourself, do I reveal what I feel, or do I make them starve for what I never show? One buries pawns, the other crowns kings, and as silence seals this second freeze, I leave you with the truth few dare accept. Emotion shared is power lost. Emotion withheld is control eternal. Asterisk Machiavelli declared, men value most what is hardest to obtain. The darker truth, distance transforms scarcity into obsession. The farther you stand, the more they crawl. The third freeze is merciless, closest weakens. Distance enslaves. Pawns believe love, loyalty, devotion are nourished by constant presence. But genius minds know the paradox. Distance multiplies desire. The one who withholds himself becomes magnetic. The one who floods the room with presence becomes invisible. Shelby embodied distance as power. He never chased. He never lingered. His absence haunted more than his presence. Women who touched him once starved for him forever. Men who crossed him once feared his silence more than his bullets. Shelby's distance was not neglect. It was a calculated vacuum that drew others closer. Corleone crafted the same architecture. He was never accessible, never eager. Audiences with him were rare, gifts scarce, attention rationed. And so, when he finally appeared, when he finally spoke, his words carried the weight of prophecy. His distance created value. His scarcity birthed reverence. Forget emotions. Remember victory, picture the pawn. He clings. He floods others with messages, attention, presence. He believes abundance secures affection. In truth, abundance devalues. His eagerness suffocates. His closeness breeds contempt. He becomes ordinary, invisible, replaceable. Now picture the ruler. He withdraws. He starves them of his presence. He lets absence gnaw at their minds. Let silence echo until they invent reasons to chase him. His coldness is not cruelty. It is the slow burn of scarcity. By giving nothing, he makes himself everything. Erase the noise. Master the game. This is the anatomy of distance as obsession. Scarcity multiplies value. What is rare becomes sacred. Absence enslaves imagination. In silence, they invent stories that bind them tighter. Distance breeds addiction. The less you give, the more they crave. The mind forgets. The strong remain. Machiavelli understood this hidden cruelty. Men destroy what is abundant, but worship what they cannot possess. Presence satisfies. Distance enslaves. A ruler never gives too much of himself. He withholds, starves, lets them hunger. And hunger is the strongest chain in human nature. But genius minds sharpen distance with precision. Too much absence creates indifference. Too much presence creates contempt. The art lies in rhythm, disappearing long enough to create ache, reappearing briefly to intensify devotion, then vanishing again to let the obsession multiply. Coldness is not about leaving. It is about timing your absence so perfectly that your shadow becomes eternal. So what does this mean for you? It means if you still cling, still flood, still make yourself too available, you are pawn. If you still fear distance, you are weak. The crown belongs only to the one who withholds presence, who lets silence echo, who makes absence a prison they never escape. So tonight, ask yourself, do they feel my absence as loss, or do they feel nothing when I vanish? One buries pawns, the other crowns kings, and as silence freezes into this third fracture, I leave you with the truth that crowns the irresistible. Your distance is their addiction. Machiavelli whispered, men are driven more by their own needs than by your generosity. The darker truth, the less you appear to need them, the more they crawl to satisfy you. Indifference enslaves stronger than desire. The fourth frieze is merciless. Indifference is the crown of coldness. Desire makes you equal. Need makes you weak. But indifference makes you godlike. Pawns obey not the ruler who craves them, but the ruler who behaves as if their existence changes nothing. Shelby understood this instinctively. His face revealed no longing, no pleading, no dependence. He acted as if every ally was replaceable, every lover temporary, every favor expendable. That indifference became irresistible. It made people beg to be exceptions, fight to be chosen, bleed for the privilege of mattering. Corleone wielded the same mastery. His silence told allies he could wait forever. His calmness told enemies their betrayal meant nothing. He withheld the need to chase or convince, and in that restraint, he ruled. His indifference was not emptiness, it was calculation. By acting as though he could live without anyone, he made everyone desperate to prove otherwise. Forget emotions. Remember victory. Picture the pawn. He craves, he clings. He shows need in his eyes, his tone, his gestures. He begs for recognition, approval, affection. His need exposes him, diminishes him. Others lose respect. They sense his desperation, and desperation invites exploitation. His warmth suffocates, his need disgusts. Now picture the ruler. He withholds. He shows no desperation, no rush, no dependence. He acts as if every connection is optional, every alliance temporary, every affection expendable. His indifference burns. It makes others panic to win him, scramble to hold him, obsessed to prove their value. The less he shows need, the more they crave him. Erase the noise. Master the game. This is the anatomy of indifference as power. It starves them. What you deny becomes their obsession. It elevates you. The one who needs least always rules the one who needs most. It enslaves silently. Indifference makes them chain themselves in the hope of thawing you. The mind forgets. The strong remain. Machiavelli saw it clearly. Rulers who cling fall. Rulers who withdraw endure. The pawn seeks to be wanted. The king makes them need him without ever needing them. Cold indifference is not weakness. It is theater. The performance of self-sufficiency so complete that others break themselves to win a place. Inside it, a genius mind sharpen indifference further. They do not simply withhold. They drip fragments of recognition, rare, unpredictable, that turn obsession into addiction. A glance, a word, a nod of approval becomes unforgettable. Indifference makes warmth scarce, and scarcity makes every drop of attention sacred. This rhythm enslaves more completely than chains do. So what does this mean for you? It means if you still reveal hunger, if you still chase, if you still show them they matter more to you than you to them, you are pawn. The crown belongs only to the one who withholds, who freezes, who makes others fight endlessly to matter. So tonight, ask yourself, am I desperate to be chosen? Or am I making others desperate to be chosen by me? One buries pawns, the other crowns kings, and as silence seals this fourth frieze, I leave you with the truth that crowns the irresistible. The less you care, the more they worship. Machiavelli warned, men must be either caressed or annihilated. The hidden truth, coldness can do both. To withdraw affection is to punish, and in punishment, you awaken desire. The fifth frieze is merciless. The absence of warmth becomes addictive. Pawns crave approval. They beg for recognition. When you deny it, they ache. That ache becomes hunger, and hunger becomes obsession. The colder you remain, the deeper they fall. Shelby wielded this instinct like a blade. He gave nothing easily. His silence cut deeper than insult. His distance punished more than rage. Lovers longed for him because he withheld. Enemies feared him because he froze them out. His coldness was not absence. It was punishment disguised as inevitability. Corleone understood the same theater. He rarely raised his voice. He did not strike first. He froze men with silence, exiled them from his presence, denied them acknowledgement. That denial became unbearable. Pawns begged for restoration, crawling to him, offering loyalty just to feel his shadow again. Forget emotions. Remember victory. picture the pawn. He punishes with rage, with noise, with pleading. His punishment loses power because it exposes his need. But the ruler punishes with coldness. He denies attention. He withholds approval. He lets silence rot in their chest until they kneel. His indifference burns hotter than fire. Erase the noise. Master the game. This is the anatomy of cold punishment. Absence enslaves. They crave what you deny. Silence suffocates. They break themselves to fill the void. Rarity seduces. When warmth finally returns, it feels divine. The mind forgets. The strong remain. So what does this mean for you? It means if you punish with noise, you are pawned. If you punish with coldness, you are ruler. For nothing enslaves more than the ache of being frozen out. So tonight, ask yourself, do I let them suffer in silence, or do I reveal my need in rage? The answer decides who kneels. Machiavelli said, men judge more by what they see than by what they hear. The darker truth, they collapse not under your words, but under your gaze. Cold eyes do what speeches never can. They strip the soul. The sixth freeze is merciless. Your gaze must rule before your voice does. Pawns crave warmth in the eyes. They search for softness, for mercy, for approval. When they see none, their spirit cracks. Cold eyes whisper, you are nothing. You are replaceable. And in that silence, their resistance dies. Shelby's stare was a blade. He rarely raised his voice, rarely wasted words. His cold eyes did the killing first. Enemies confessed before bullets. Lovers clung before promises. His stare said everything. Inevitability. Corleone mastered the same discipline. His gaze was calm, steady, unreadable. It offered no hint of anger, no spark of affection. Men who faced him spoke too much, revealed too much, begging to soften eyes that would never soften. That desperation made them obedient. Forget emotions. Remember victory. Picture the pawn. His eyes plead. His gaze wanders. His expression betrays hunger. Everyone sees his weakness before he opens his mouth. He thinks he hides it. He DOES and single quotes T. Now picture the ruler. His eyes freeze. They reveal nothing. They offer no comfort, no fear, no hope. And in that void, others collapse, desperate to earn a flicker of warmth that never comes. His gaze enslaves because it withholds. Erase the noise. Master the game. This is the anatomy of cold eyes. They suffocate. Silence in the gaze breaks words in the throat. They enslave. Pawns betray themselves in the void they stare into. They addict. One rare spark of warmth becomes unforgettable. The mind forgets. The strong remain. So what does this mean for you? If your eyes still reveal need, you are pawned. If your gaze freezes, you are king. So tonight, ask yourself, do my eyes beg, or do they command? Machiavelli warned, it is far safer to be feared than loved. The hidden truth, coldness creates both. It starves love into obsession and sculpts fear into reverence. Coldness is not a tactic. It is the crown itself. The seventh freeze is merciless. To rule, you must become untouchable. Warmth ties you down. Desperation exposes you. Anger betrays you. Only coldness endures because it makes you unreadable. And the unreadable are irresistible. Shelby's legend was forged in frost. His silence enslaved. His distance obsessed. His coldness demanded worship. People did not simply follow him. They orbited around him, unable to break free from the gravity of what they could never fully touch. Corleone's crown was carved from the same ice. He rewarded rarely, punished silently, withheld endlessly. His coldness made loyalty inevitable, because no one could bear his indifference. His empire lived in his shadow, addicted to crumbs of his approval. Forget emotions. Remember victory. Picture the pawn. He clings with warmth, begs with need, shouts with anger. He thinks he is alive, but in truth, he is transparent, predictable, weak. His crown melts before it's even forged. Now picture the ruler. He starves them with coldness, enslaves them with silence, freezes them with distance. His presence is rare, his affection rarer, and because he gives so little, everything he gives becomes divine. His coldness makes him irresistible. His crown carved from ice. Erase the noise. Master the game. This is the anatomy of the crown of coldness. Scarcity breeds obsession. They worship what they cannot have. Distance breeds addiction. They chase what keeps escaping. Silence breeds fear. They obey what they cannot read. The mind forgets. The strong remain. So what does this mean for you? It means if you still chase with warmth, you are pawned. If you still beg for attention, you are prey. The crown belongs to the one who starves, who withholds, who makes others break themselves to matter. So tonight, ask yourself, am I warm enough to be forgotten or cold enough to be eternal? Because in the end, kings are not remembered for their love, they are remembered for their coldness.